Hi, this is Virginia Nava, and I'm here with Marie Fratoni. And I'm really, really excited to be here with you. Marie Fratoni is a person I know for several years, and I really love and admire her for several reasons. First of all, is because she has a beautiful heart. And second of all, because she's a really professional woman. She actually leads Women Professional Development Network, which is an organization of excellent women entrepreneurs and who get together to grow and prosper. And she's also an expert on sales and in many other areas, and also networking as well. So I have invited her today to speak with us about the power of the ask. But first of all, before we get into the topic, I would like Marie to introduce herself to you so you can learn a little bit more about her first. Welcome,
Okay.
Marie.
Thank you so much, Virginia. This is so fun. I mean, we were just chatting beforehand, and now I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's make a difference. Let's have some fun. So, for your audience, yeah, I'm Marie Fratoni, and I'm the CEO of a company called Get Clients Everywhere. And I've been coaching and training for a million years, and or it seems like that, but it's always so fun. And I love to work with people to really help them build their business, to help them get new clients in, to make more money and have more joy and freedom in their life. And there's so many ways in which we can do that, even when we're hunkered down in COVID times, right from our home and, right from here. So I just love to make a difference for you and your audience today.
Well, thank you, Marie, and thank you for being here. So I wanted to dive into the topic of asking and really learning your perspective about how do we learn to ask and also to have a new mindset around asking, especially in sales conversations and in other type of business conversations that are leading into really moving forward our businesses.
All right. Well, it's a kind of a wide question. So how I would answer that, I'm just going to
Yes.
think for a second, is that there's lots of asks along
Yes.
the way to the big ask. The big ask might be, would you sign up for my program? Would this be a good program for you to be in? Or would you want to buy my product? What, those kinds of things. But along the way, there's several little asks that we build our relationships so that we're just not asking somebody that's in our cold market to buy something that's one of our hot programs, because hot and cold doesn't really go together.
Okay.
Cold and cold goes together, warm and warm goes together, and hot really go together. So, there's lots of things. So what I would ask you is, like, when you say the ask, like in my world, I know there's a lot of asks, but if you're saying the ask, are you talking about the ask to say, would you like to buy my program, product, or service?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yes, that would
okay,
be what I would be referring to because I've noticed that there is this tendency in my world, right, of clients I have or people that come into, marketing consulting with me or personal development with me, is that they will offer, there will be a lot of givers out there, that they will be putting all this information out there, whether it's videos, whether it's value content, whether it's events. And frequently people don't ask, and even the small ask or the big ask. So I would like to kind of learn from you,
okay.
what do we do about that?
All right, that's good. I can
Yeah.
work with that. Um, well, I think a lot of times what happens is people are speaking into people. Well, let me say how I can say this. A lot of times they ask people for things that they haven't really, in my world, that they haven't earned the right to ask. Like, they don't know that person. They don't know if they're the right kind of client. They don't really know enough about the other person to know whether or not they would be the right fit for that person.
Mhm.
So sometimes when people are asking, they're asking coming from a place where they don't really know what it is that they're doing. Like, they haven't defined their market. They haven't defined the product offerings and the pricing that they're doing. So they're making it up on the fly. That makes it difficult to ask. And it also keeps people from asking, because if people are unclear what they're selling, then they're just like frozen. They're like, well, I know I should be selling something. I know I should be getting clients. I know I should be making money, but I don't really know how to do that. So that's one thing. The other thing is our job is what a lot of people do is they don't market. And I know you're a marketing expert. So marketing makes us hungry for the sale. Marketing educates our audience. Marketing speaks to our audience in a way that has them be interested, or we get people will follow us. And I think sometimes, you know, I know obviously we've been to many networking events together and conferences together. And sometimes it's like people come up to you just and say, hey, my name is, will you buy my this or try my samples? Or, and they don't even know anything about me, you know? So I think what we have to do is cultivate relationships and do a lot more marketing to our audience and speak the language that they're speaking with. So there are several asks on the way to the big ask. One is, would it be okay if we connected on social media? That's one ask. Is it okay if I send you an invitation to one of my next events? That's another ask. Is it okay if I send you a link to get this complimentary download that's on my website that I think would really help you take your next steps? That's another ask. Is it okay if I introduced you to Virginia Nava? That's another ask. So as you're asking all along, you're actually building that relationship and spending time with that person, and you're being of value and you're being of service. I don't think that unless people have really been through a formal training program or coaching program that really focuses on sales and business development, I think the vast majority of people are selling to the wrong people, and they're selling things that their people don't want, but they just know they need to sell. It's just a training issue. They could get trained in that, and then they would find, oh, my life is a lot easier. So there's lots of asks. You know, another ask would be, is it okay if I added you to my newsletter? I'd love to send you my newsletter and keep you informed about what's going on. Then people have a chance to say yes or no. I'd like that. I wouldn't like that. Or you could ask them and say, is it okay if I follow up with you in a couple of weeks? Is it okay if not now? Would it be okay if I reached out to you maybe 30 days from now and just see where it is? Or another ask would be, is, would you like to have virtual coffee? Would you like to have virtual vino? Would you like to join me for lunch? So there's lots of things where we can engage people without having it be, hi, would you like to buy my $10,000 program? And you don't even know anything about me. But people do that a lot. And it puts people in a situation where that's when people feel like they're being pushed upon. People, how do I want to say it? People don't want to be sold, but people love to buy. They love to go shopping. They love to say, oh, I like that one. I like the red one. Or I like this one. Or let's try that one on. That sounds pretty good. And once they try it on and they get the feel, and that's what our marketing does. That's what our relationship building does. And then it's much more easier to speak and to make an ask, a bigger ask, to somebody that you've gotten to know. So I guess that's how I would begin to start that conversation. How does that sound for you?
Yeah, that sounds great. And I guess two questions came to mind. And I feel that there is a mindset component on asking, because I feel like some people shy, either kind of like they go all the way into the big ask, or they kind of shy away from the ask altogether, you know. And also I noticed that, you know, some people feel rejected, like they take it personally if somebody will say, no, I don't want to be in your newsletter, or no, I don't want your product right now. And so I find that there is a psychology aspect to being open to asking, that I feel maybe it comes even from childhood and how people are brought up to be safe to ask or not. So do you have any recommendations around that aspect?
Yeah, I think training is just key. I mean, if I could go to any business and have people enrolled in sales training, that's really good quality sales training. Part of the whole training program is really all about mindset. So I think you're absolutely right by looking at I think what happens is a lot of times, this is a very common conversation people have with me, is they don't want to feel like they're pressuring people. They don't want to feel like if they send them more than one email a month, they think they're pressuring people. Well, people don't read their emails. So if you want to have people see your stuff, you need to send it multiple times. But I think when you're really working with training, the mindset for anything is great. Many people think, especially if they're new to the whole sales process and getting their own clients, you know, if they've gone from a corporate job where they've been receiving a paycheck and benefits, and then they move to the entrepreneur world, it's a very different world. And there is an adjustment to make. There's no question. I had to make that adjustment too, you know. But if we understand that without a sale, nothing can happen. We can always share little tidbits and little nuggets of things that we know along the way to kind of get our audience hungry, or do I like her? Do I want to follow her? Do I like what she's sharing? Do I like her social media post? Do I like her quotes? You know, it's a way for people to try us on. But then what we want to do is make sure that people often have the notion, they always say, I don't want to sound like a pressured car salesman. There's an image out there of what car salesmen are. It's actually not so much the image today, but it's an old version of what used to be the used car salesman. That would say, but you got to get it today. And if you do it today, it's going to be like da 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 da. You know, it's like this fast, masculine energy, drive it, you know, and it's not so much that. I think what happens for people is if we understand that, you said it earlier today, is selling is service. Selling is being of service to other people. And unless somebody buys our best brilliance, and they're buying the transformation, the information, the experience that we provide, we can't give that to them. So there's an exchange of being able to receive something. So that part is all related to mindset. You mentioned things that happen like from when we're little kids. I agree. We've all learned things. It's like, you know, don't ask. Those are your brother's cookies. They're not your cookies. You know, oops, I'm sorry. And that was my phone that's asking me to turn the alarm off. But we learn different things like that. Part of it is feeling worthy, feeling like we really have something that we have to offer, and that we're willing to stand in our brilliance. We're willing to stand in our truth. We're willing to stand in our competence that has us be willing to say, I have something that I think would make a difference for you. Are you open to hearing it? That's different than calling somebody up and saying, hi, this is Marie. I've got this program, da, 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 and I think that you would be really, really good. Would you like to buy it today? There are some companies that actually teach that. And some, like if you were a headhunter today, if you were being a recruiter and you were a brand new recruiter working for a company, or you were a brand new insurance salesman or saleswoman, many times you're given a chart and you're given a list, and you need to make 100 phone calls a day. That is driving, that's male energy, that's out there, out there, out there. Most people hate doing it. It is a good training, because after a while, you know what? You don't care whether somebody says yes or no. And if you're calling 100 people, and you're somewhat even reasonably good at having a conversation, there are bound to be yeses. So people don't care. And what I do in my sales training sometimes is we actually put people in a fun program, a contest that's fun, or, you know, it's got crazy prizes and things like that, just to have people build the muscle in being willing to make those phone calls. You know, I will make a short list of people that I want to have in a program, and that I think I like them, I like their business, I think I could make a difference with their business, I think they're coachable. I'm not looking for any sale at this point. I'm looking to say, are they a right fit? Many people don't go there. You know, they're just kind of looking at, I need to put food on the table today, which is okay. You know, I did that when I first started in the business too. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got to make these sales or else I'm not going to be able to eat. So I think we have to take our time and honor ourselves and honor what it is that we're providing, and then to get actually some training in how to actually have a sales conversation which is different than a virtual coffee, which is different than, hi, how are you? Which is different than, hey, let's meet after the meeting and let's grab a drink, or let's have our cheesecake together afterwards, and just kind of play, who are you? That's not a sales conversation. But there's a process and there's an arc to a sales conversation. And most people have not had that training. So when they have that training and they practice, wow, the whole world opens up.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing, Marie. And I guess my last question today will be, do you have any recommendations for people at this time, given the different scenario of business that we're living in, of how they can approach, meeting new people and network and, get into this sales conversation? Because I think for some people it's more comfortable to do it when they're meeting somebody one-on-one in person. So if you have any recommendations, that would be great.
Well, I think that, if people are really interested in meeting people, there is no end to meeting people online today. I mean, I just say you've got to be living under a rock if you can't find groups or whatever, because they're everywhere. I'm invited to probably 10 or 12 every week. I don't do them, but because I don't have the time for them. But there's so many things, because everybody's been recreating how they've been running their business, because we're not going out to live events anymore at this time. So I think if you're wherever you're listening from, you can Google professional networks, you can Google women's networks, you can, Google co-ed business professional associations in your area, and all kinds of things will show up. And then you can reach out to them and get invited to their mailing list or connect with them on social media. And it gives you all the reasons for connecting. And then you start to see that's where you get the invitations for the events. I think the biggest piece that, I've been coaching in this world for a long time. I would say a very common denominator that happens is people don't take the time to get to know the people that they're selling to. And before that, they haven't even defined what it is that they're selling. They don't know the conversations to have that are like, is this person a match for this program? Is this person a match for a private program? Is this person a match for, just a networking group? Is this person a match for one of my other colleagues? And we have to define that first. Programs, packaging, pricing, or products, programs, packages, prices, bundles, all those kinds of things. Because once we're clear what the structures are, then if we're listening to people, then we know where to direct them. Not everybody is going to be a private client for me or probably for you, but not everybody is going to be right for WPDN. That's the group that I lead in Atlanta. Not everybody's going to be right for a particular program. I have a Jumpstart program that's for brand new businesses, but some people aren't right for the Jumpstart. They've already done all that stuff. So you have to listen for where are people in their process, what's missing, what would be the presence that would make a difference for them to open the next door. And then if you have something that is going to fit that bill, that's what you offer. So I've got several offerings that meet different people at different times in their career. And I think you have that too.
Thank you, Marie. And I leave you, this last chance to share any offerings that you might want to share with the group, and anything else that you might want to share. And I want to thank you so much for being here, for sharing your brilliance and wisdom, and for all the service and heart that you put into the community. I really value you. I value your consistency and your love for all of us. Thank you for being here today.
Well, it's awesome. Thank you. It's really great. And I think when we invite our colleagues on, that is something that makes us all more valuable, because part of what our value is the people that we're connected to. It is our professional network. So, it's really wonderful to do that. There are two things. One is if people want to reach out, or if they'd like to see and learn a little bit more or be connected on my newsletter, my ask would be, please visit my website at getclientseverywhere.com. There's a great free download that's on there called, you ready for this? 17 ridiculously simple ways to increase your magnetic leadership. It's just a fun document, but there's 17 ways, ridiculously simple to do it. And you're using your magnetic leadership right now. If you can get that, if I have a conversation, it's great. If they're in Atlanta and if they're a woman, then they can check out on my website. There's the group WPDN. There's a tab in my on my website for that. They can learn a little bit more. And there's a little bit of a presentation. WPDN is a community of women entrepreneurs, and we grow women entrepreneurs. That's the intention of the group. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share, have some fun, have a little late afternoon conversation with beautiful Virginia.
Thank you for being with me today, Marie, and hopefully this will help a lot of our colleagues and entrepreneurs right here, right now. So
Will
thanks a
you
lot,
let me
Marie.
know the link? Will you let me know the link or when you have it so that I can share it as well?
Yeah, I will give it to you as soon as I have it. So thank you so much, Marie, for being with us today. I really appreciate our conversation.
Thank you.